wealthy New York accountant who went on to shake up the music world with his dirty vocals and dark lyrics, half sung, half spoken, always provocative. Lou Reed died last night at the age of 71 after a failed liver transplant. His body eventually gave in to a legacy of Olympian excesses. His musical legacy lives on undaunted. Here's our culture editor, Paul Mason.
It was the first band to belong both in the history of rock music and modern art. Recruited by Andy Warhol as the house band for his New York art studio, the Velvet Underground changed popular music. Its frontman, Lou Reed, believed 3 chords were enough to change the world.
Anybody can play one of my songs, anybody, including people who can't play the guitar or an instrument. You could sit them down in a half hour. You could play Wild Side in 10 minutes.
But Reed did not start out on the wild side. He moved among artists and writers in the New York of the 60s. But as the American dream tarnished and pop music drifted towards rebellion, suddenly Reed was the rebellion. Venus in Furs from his first album was about S&M, waiting for the man, about buying heroin. The track entitled Heroin, about taking it.
He taught me that you can put the most sonically aggressive music and put it side by some of the most beautiful ballads that anyone has ever written.
Rock singer Nick Cave today among a host of big stars paying tribute to Reed's influence.
There was something that Lou started when he did his stuff that, which was that kind of punk ethic that still that he still held true to himself to the end.
Satellites gone up to the skies.
When Reed left the Velvet Underground, he began to work in London. His second solo album, Transformer, produced by David Bowie and Bowie guitarist Mick Ronson, was part of a golden age of gender-bending and poetic rock. But Reed went on playing right until the end, experimenting with avant-garde music and, as here in New York in 2006, with the big band sound.
How do you think it feels when you've been up for 5 days?
He moved beautifully about and surprised beautifully, that he could do something very tender, something very thoughtful, and then something that you had to rethink all over again, whether you like Lou Reed again. You know, it was kind of his records were so polarizing.
Today, rebellion's a commodity, the punk as hero a cultural meme. It's hard to remember just how shocking Reed's words and music were to those who heard them. By the time he recorded Transformer at this London studio, the rebellions of the 60s were in the past, to be mythologized. The music he made here would inspire a whole new generation to rebellion using sex, drugs and existential angst. But for Lou Reed, the rebellion never ended. When the Occupy movement staged this protest in Manhattan in 2011, Reed's face appeared suddenly in the crowd, his words audible only as the protesters repeat them.
The police are our army.
The police are our army. The police are our army.
I want to be friends with them.
I want to be friends with them. I want to be friends with them.
And I want to occupy Wall Street.
And I want to occupy Wall Street.
And what costume shall the poor girl wear?
The Velvet Underground marked a turning point in the 60s, from optimism to the dark and experimental. But Reed's belief in the power of music never died.
Rock and roll can change everything. And I'm a graduate of Warhol University, and I believe in the power of punk. To this day, I want to blow it up. Thank you.
All tomorrow's parties.
Lou Reed, who died last night at the age of 71. Now then, the NHS has come in for more than its fair share of criticism recently.